So, Agent Carter Season 3 is going to be weird. Happy New Year! I know I said 2017 was an awesome year for video games, but 2018, man, was a fucking awesome year for video games, and I had so dang much to say about these games that I had to make a good old-fashioned video about it. And without further ado, video games. Mario Tennis! Oh, Luigi, no! Mario Tennis Aces is 50% tennis, 50% getting the approval of the commentator told you talk over your game and stream it to mix it. You could turn this feature off, but why would you? I mean, what are you, some kind of asshole? Well, I get it. It's a tennis game. You need a little more than that to get you on board. Well, alright, come over here. Come closer. Come closer. Come closer. You can hit the ball so hard that it obliterates your opponent's racket into tiny little pieces. That's it. There you go. That's it. That's it. There you go. I played the demo of this before it came out, and man, it sold me so quick. They really nailed a satisfying, fast-paced, high-stakes tennis game that's so much more fun than I ever would have expected. It looks like such a simple game on the surface, but that is a ruse. It is so complex. The more you play, it reveals its intricate game design and mechanics, and there is so much to learn and to figure out and to master, especially if you've got someone to play this with. It is crack-a-lackin'! They got this power bar mechanic that shakes things up so you can slow down time and do super spikes and super saves, and it can get so goddamn intense. It is really a blast to play at its very core. And if that weren't enough, this game has got an adventure mode in which every problem you encounter is solved by, you guessed it, playing tennis. Lost your wallet? Play some tennis! Killed a man and have got to get rid of the evidence, but also come to terms with the fact that you've done something you could never come back from and will probably haunt you for the rest of your days? I'll play some tennis! Couple months late on uploading a new video? Play some tennis! And the villain of the game is a sentient infinity racket. Yes, you heard me right. It is definitely, unmistakably, a fucking infinity racket. What? Ah, now, here we are. This is what I like to see. Just regular fucking tennis. Oh! Snow Ogre? Snogre? Okay, how is that an ogre? Nope, I'm not buying it. That's literally just the boss from Ocarina of Time, and Wind Waker, and Minish Cap, and Super Mario 64! It's always with the hands. Now everything said has been true, and this game was fucking superb to play for the first 2 to 3 days. Unfortunately, the online mode quickly became plagued by people exploiting faults in the trick shot mechanics, which essentially ruined the game for everyone else, as it was either do exactly what they were doing, which was boring as shit, and people only did to manipulate their online rank, or just be beat by them every time. It took Camelot a full month to actually address this issue, and it was too little too late. Everyone had jumped ship by then. The single player is fun, but it's over before you know it, and doesn't really offer all that much to begin with. And the CPUs aren't fun enough to do tournaments against more than once or twice. The online is pretty much fixed now from what I can tell, but good luck finding a match. You now even have to pay just for the privilege to sit in empty lobbies. The only way I can really still recommend this is if you buy it with another person and both play it pretty much exclusively together, one console or two. That way you can learn off each other's moves and really get into the strategy of it, as you only really can with human players. Otherwise, well, I'll always have those first couple of days. It's sad that you went out so soon and with a whimper, but you were fun while you lasted. Like, really fucking fun. In the arms of the angel, fly away from me. Just play tennis! Cry 5. It's Far Cry again. They did it! They actually fucking did it! The absolute goddamn bastards at Nintendo actually made a new Mario Party that isn't fucking stupid! Super Mario Party! Now, it isn't all peachy green in Super Mario Party Land, but let's just stand back and appreciate the fact that it's been so fucking long since a Mario Party game has been released that didn't force you to think, wow, why did they fuck everything? In this, you roll the fucking dice, you collect the fucking coins, you play the fucking minigames, you collect the motherfucking stars, and you're not in a car! It really just makes me so happy. Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey already showed a new and improved attitude of not only making new and greater things, but also having a certain appreciation for their past. And I'm so glad this bled over to the Mario Party franchise. But I can't talk about this game and just admit the things in it that are kinda fucking stupid. The game forces you to use single Joy-Cons to play the game, even though Pro Controllers have all the same functionality besides the IR sensor that isn't used in the game. There's online play, but you can only play a minigame playlist with random people. How did they forget playing full board games with people on your friends list at the very least? Past the 3 choices of lengths, there are no options to adjust the rules for matches. Don't like bonus stars? Fuck you! And your mother! Don't like the new ally system? Too fucking bad! You're playing with them! Just weird, nonsensical, stubborn oversights hold this game back, and that's a pretty big contrast to the new Smash game that has more customizability than any other game in its series. So what's the deal with that? And then there are bigger issues, like the game not having a ton of depth. They give you too many coins, and not enough things to use them on. All the items spawn in the same shops at the same places, including a completely overpowered golden pipe that teleports you straight to the star, which would be fine if it were a rare, expensive item that you only come across once in a blue moon, but you know exactly where to get it every time, and it respawns every time. Stars only cost 10 coins each time, except for the so-called high stakes board, in which they can cost up to, 15 coins. It gets to the point where it's almost useless having any choices because the choices are so obvious, there's no reason to pick the other one. And there are only 4 boards in the entire game. Oh, so the boards themselves must be pretty complex and intricate, right? Nope. Play them once or twice and you've got all of them pretty much figured out. They're also even shorter than they used to be to accommodate the reduction from 1 to 10 dice to 1 to 6, so there's just less. No wacky mid-map minigames and barely any spaces that really shake things up. And you can now once again use items on each other, but you can't rig spaces with traps. Why take that strategy and freedom away from the players? I guess I should mention that there are 3 other modes, but they barely deserve mentioning. The only reason to play them in more than one session is because you have to get the 4 unlockable characters. And the worst part of the whole thing is, even for the relatively small amount of first-time play you get to experience with this, the game just doesn't fuck you over all that much. So like, what's that about? There are bad luck spaces, but even in the last few turns when they become extra bad luck spaces, there is still very little chance that they'll even touch your stars. What is that malarkey? In Mario Party 7, if you landed on a Bowser space, you could lose every star you own. Now, that's what I'm talking about! Bend me over a barrel and show me the 50 states! This just isn't fucking CSGO. I don't play it because it's competitive. Mario Party's fun because you never know how much of any certain match will be luck-based and exactly how much your skill and tactics will actually end up paying off. I play these games because I want to feel like tearing my teeth out and carving my opponent's heart out and eating it while being dragged off to prison for life. And if I can't get that, then what's the point, man? If you can tell what's going to happen in the next turn, then it isn't the exciting, insane, turn your world upside down party game I know and love. As much as it got right, they took out some of the wacky stuff that really pushed the Mario Party series into greatness. Or I guess they haven't put it back in since their acid trip games. I don't know. It's really 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So hopefully, when the next game does come around, they spice things up more and they pack it with the content it deserves. See, I don't get why so many Nintendo games as of late have been vacuum sealed, packed to the brim with so much goddamn content. But then what, they just skim over the new Mario Party? How are you gonna explain that one to your kids? I'm walking out of this game feeling like I just had a goddamn entree. I didn't pay for entree, I paid for main course, bitch! Serving me up a goddamn butter-ass bread with some asparagus. What the fuck is this? This isn't a full meal. Give me my goddamn steak, you piece of shit!
There's one unlockable level.
Fucking what? I wanna see the manager! And as light as the board game side of things might be, the mini games on the other hand are possibly some of the best the series has ever seen. For real. They bring back the ability to practice in the rules menu so you don't have to waste time loading up a practice round for a couple of seconds before making sure you get it. And the games themselves are so quick to the point and simple and concise and manage to present a solid mini package of pure fun and do so in a way that reads instantly and doesn't feel like it skimps out on the depth. Even the somewhat infamous 1v3 minigames are maybe more balanced than they have ever been. And that's seriously gotta be so fucking hard to get right. So I gotta applaud that. The minigames are fucking great. And how can I forget to mention, the new mechanics they introduced to the game this time was actually really cool. As well as being able to roll a regular die, you get the chance to roll a character-specific die, which can net you high risk, high reward, or a safe average roll if you want, or even the chance to stock up on coins or roll a 0 just in case you want to hit the space you're already on again, which does work. That is the type of addition that I think works perfectly for the series. More choice, but it's still luck-based. Then there's also the aforementioned ally system, which lets you invite more characters to your posse to add to your dice block and sometimes even give you an advantage in minigames. This one I have mixed opinions on. It's kinda funny, but you should definitely have the option to turn it off. I mean, at the end of the day, as nice as it is to have a proper new Mario Party, I really just can't recommend this over Mario Party 7. I mean, for fuck's sake, you can play with 8 players in that, but not in this? Hello? Hello? But, you know, still fun. You could play as Goomba in this one, so that's pretty funny.
Hello everybody, it's me, Kirby, here to tell you to buy my game from last year, Kirby Star Allies, because it's so much fun, and it proves once again that you don't need difficulty to have a good time. You can eat people, as I love to do, and you can also combine powers from your enemies, and you can play with your friends, and it's so much fun. It's a really great time, and I hope you buy it. Because no one else did. And I need the money. Please. I need to feed my kids. Help, Kirby.
When it comes to Jackbox, Party Pack 5, and Overcooked 2, they've both equally got very little for me to say about them, which is no insult to the games themselves, they just, I don't know, they're fun. Overcooked is a creative as hell test of you and your friends' cooperation skills with a bunch of twists and turns that'll really challenge you and do what I love from party games and turn you against each other. I mean, it is ridiculously good. I especially like the part where one of the songs sounds like the Iron Fist theme song. What do you mean you don't know what the Iron Fist theme song sounds like? Jackbox, if you don't know, has been making headway with twists on classic trivia and Pictionary and shit for, oh my god, for how long? With the party packs having you use any browser-capable device like your phone as a controller, making for accessible as hell games that make for ridiculous and hilarious good old-fashioned fun times. The latest brings back the OG You Don't Know Jack, putting trivia on its head and never waiting for you to catch up, keeping you as sharp and quick-witted as the game itself. Others rely on your own creativity and knowledge of the people you're playing with, and those are things you don't get in a lot of video games. So I absolutely gotta recommend both of them. And every other party pack game, really. Mario Party, take some notes! Wait, what
is this?
Losing it! Hit him again!
What is happening to me?
We need answers. The numbers! Focus on the numbers! What do they mean, Mason?
I don't know what you're talking about!
What do the numbers mean?
I don't know shit about no numbers! Where's Reznov?
Reznov has been dead for years, Mason. You have to let go!
No! That's impossible! You're lying! Why are you lying?
Please, we're trying to help you. We're on the brink of war.
I'm no good at math!
Fuck you, Black Ops 4. I don't play every Call of Duty, but the Black Ops sub-series seems to have been pretty consistently entertaining. I've played 1, 3, and now 4. I guess I played 2 for like an hour. But New Super Mario Bros. U came out then, man! Gotta play that Mario! And I'll probably play it again and get footage for this very moment. This one is similar to the first in that I'm actually invested in all 3 modes they have to offer. In this, they axed the campaign in favor of Blackout mode. But what is Blackout? Blackout is basically this big 100-person free-for-all where you all have to go find all your guns and stuff on the ground. It's a really cool idea, and I'm impressed with Treyarch's innovation here. I'm surprised no other game's thought of this before. Somehow, the tiny chances of winning makes everything you do in a match even more rewarding. From getting kills to just looting is somehow satisfying, even if it's just by a little bit. Because you can feel your internal percentage of winning slowly rising higher and higher and... Oh my god, I'm gonna get away! So long, suckers! Damn it! But then actually winning? Shit, dude. It's like Harry Potter or some shit. I am the chosen one. Getting that motherfucking dub really is satisfying. Well, most of the time. Alright, it looks like there are 2 other teams left. Wait. What happened?
We won.
But how?
I think the other 2 teams killed each other.
What? No!
Dude, celebrate. We did it.
Fuck you, celebrate. I wanted to earn that shit.
Oh, yeah. First win of the day, boys. I'm so glad.
God damn it! I also gave Zombies mode a shot again, and there is a lot of new stuff to get used to since last playing in Blops 1. But once you do, it's a bunch of fun as well. And then there's the multiplayer mode, which is same old of an easy game to play and have fun with when you haven't got the energy to invest yourself further in something that's maybe a little better, like Blackout mode. And then the bigger rewards in multiplayer usually come through overarching challenges that are gained through many matches, rather than all the stakes being in a single game. So in that way, I guess it's kinda relaxing, or maybe manages to let you overcome challenges in a mood when you really don't want to do shit. Maybe not exactly the height of the potential of gaming, but it's got value. Especially when it's sitting side by side with 2 other modes that actually do offer more meaningful gameplay. I guess. I don't know. It's a weird series to talk about, because I always go back and forth on whether it's all just a manipulative mess that maybe shouldn't exist, and a game that actually has a lot of tight design and does a lot of things that it doesn't get credit for. Either way, I think I can stand by the Zombies mode as an original and pretty well-made game that at times even feels like it's got some real old-world game design philosophy, and in some ways is a perfect contrast to its multiplayer counterpart. Although the elixirs and talismans are totally bullshit, but I guess I can ignore them for the most part. It already got me invested, fuck it. I should also mention that they definitely took some pages from other shooters like Overwatch with things like different classes, manual healing, and instead of getting assists when you shoot an enemy but then a teammate finishes them off, you just both get the kill. And I think all of these changes are great. And heck, I don't think it's a bad thing for games to borrow good mechanics from each other. It's like games are learning from each other and all improving for the greater good. Or something. They did take out the jetpacks and the wall running from the last game, which I thought were fun, but the game's still nice and fast-paced, so it's no biggie. On to the next one! Octopath Traveler, the game where you play as an octopus and... No, wait. The game with 8 protagonists, that's the one!
Octopath Traveler.
You could play as all of them, who all come together and play through every storyline in one playthrough, or you could play as just one of them and play 8 different campaigns, or you could just play one of them and play one campaign. You could play with a number in between 1 and 8, or you could play with 0 and just look at the main menu. Wow. I was really expecting this game to be more kid-friendly and just kind of nostalgia baiting just from looking at it. I mean, look at those snazzy graphics. It's gotta be a ploy. But boy was I wrong. The character I started my story with was a dancer who worked for a flat-out abusive boss in an effort to find the man who killed her father. Her father. The writing was so much more thought out and heartfelt than I had anticipated, and it only strengthens the combat. Which is another thing, the combat has some really cool mechanics to change things up for a turn-based RPG, allowing you to hold on to power moves and really force you to think when to time your better strikes. The multiple protagonists really give a great variety of flavor to the story. Or stories. And out of all of them, which is how I'm playing it, my favorites are definitely Primrose, Tressa, and Ophelia, who are all so different from one another in such great ways. I'm trying to be vague. I don't want to spoil it, so I'll just say that there's some emotional range to it. And then actually having the characters come together and cross paths and interact, it's really cool. I would say even if you're only mildly interested in this, pick up the demo because it's worth playing on its own, and if you do decide to get the full game, you can carry over your progress. And that's how you catch a fish. Now to skin it alive. I've put around 20 hours into this, which is nothing in relative to the full game it seems like. Thing is, it really demands undivided attention to play it. There's no objective arrow on your screen when you're walking around. You kind of pay attention to where you're going, and if you try to do something else at the same time, you're gonna get lost, dude. And you'll probably get yourself killed. So no more playing games and doing your taxes at the same time. Just focus on this one thing. Are you looking at the screen right now? Are you in another tab? God, that guy's asleep. But I guess I'm not one to judge, because that's exactly my biggest issue with this game. Which is pretty good, because it's not an issue with the game, it's an issue with me. Just pay attention, damn it. Ow! It's not you, Octopath. It's me, okay? But I will strive to fix the broken pieces inside of me, and one day, I swear to you, one day, I will get to the end and defeat the giant octopus or whatever. For number 3, we've got was a fucking kick-ass year for Spider-Man fans. Spider fans. We got Infinity War, we got Spider-Verse, and we got freaking Spider-Man on the PS4! And that's it! Those are all the Spider-Man related games and movies that came out in 2018. Movie games dying out isn't exactly something I would call a victory, but the fact that companies giving up on them made way to actually allowing creatives to put this time and effort towards a loving game based off a character with this much potential surely is a good thing. That was a long sentence. Now, is it everything you've ever wanted from a Spider game and more? No. But it's a big web zip in the right direction. It's an original story that cuts to the chase 8 years into Peter Parker's spider adventures, so you get to be spider-beating spider villains real spider quickly. Now, a big question for a lot of people would be whether the webs actually have to stick to the environment for you to swing off of. And the answer is yes! Speaking of, one wonderful new feature they have that the old ones didn't is that if you thwip really close to the ground, the game makes sure you don't make contact with the floor unless you let go of your webs. So you can swing through the streets to your heart's content, and you won't just... It also just looks very flashy with how the camera swings and the music swells, plus you get a bunch of new traversal moves to keep your momentum going even more. Now, if you're wondering exactly what kind of game it is, which I think is a pretty valid question, it is a mission-based beat-em-up free-roaming adventure game. It's actually surprisingly similar to the Spider-Man games that came before it, just this time done really well, which, honestly, I kinda hoped for more. More game mechanics that blew my mind and were perfect for the world and character of Spider-Man, and were things that I genuinely had never seen in any game, let alone a Spider-Man one, for them to really mold the story and the gameplay in together in a way that we hadn't seen before. And maybe that's unfair. Maybe I'm in fairy tale land. I mean, I do have pretty stupidly high expectations for anything Spider-Man, but with a new Spidey game that had complete free reign to make it work as a game, as a Spider-Man game, I didn't think there'd still be QuickTime events for you to play through some of the emotional peaks of the story. If they really went right back to the drawing board for what a Spider-Man game could be, why does it feel like it's still going off an okay structure? Some of the collectibles and the side missions feel like things that are just there because that's what a free roamer has. And I guess I just wanted something that felt more different. But I mean, hell, they really did do a good job of keeping the combat varied and introducing new strengths and weaknesses for the regular enemies all the way up until the end of the game. The stealth segments I think were done pretty damn well. The combat is quick and satisfying and allows you to zip enemy to enemy, keeping it fast-paced. And the story is something I certainly can't skim over, though I will not spoil it. For better or for worse, the focus was clearly on the story on this game, and it is gripping as shit, which is absolutely not something you find in games very often. Not these days. This definitely takes the cake for the best story in a game this year, hands down! And it completely lives up to the source material, and that is fucking awesome! I just wish there was more time for some of the relationships in the game to develop and be explored, as I think that would have just given the emotional payoffs even more impact. I really loved what I played, but I do hope, if they get to make another, I end up just as impressed and there's just as many new ideas with the game side of things as they did here with the story side. Now, I don't know if it's my age, or the game, or what, but goddamn man, the new Smash feels like the best in the series! They made an effort to make things quicker in general. For example, a lot of the transformation final Smashes are replaced with ones more in line with Link's, so no more trying to scoop up opponents on your flying tank as Fox to launch them out of the map. Come on, and the characters, oh my god, let me go over some of my favorites real quick. You got the crazy agile Pac-Man. Young Link is somehow my favorite out of all the Links. Zelda rose to the occasion and actually makes you feel elegant when you fight as her. Isabelle! And motherfucking Mr. Castlevania himself!
Thailand wins!
And this usually isn't something I care for a whole lot, but having been on the go recently, this game translates so well to being in handheld mode, for both long and short sessions. I've become so numb to the idea of Smash Bros that I only really recently stepped back again and appreciated it for the bizarre, insane crossover it is. Like, I've got Sonic the Hedgehog fighting the villager from Animal Crossing in Pac-Land. The implications as to how exactly they got here, met each other, and then went on to engaging in physical combat is goddamn perplexing. The story mode just has them actually all be friends, but they've been hypnotized or cloned or something, which is a bummer, but no one buys these games for the plot. But I tell you, there's potential in it. I mean, even just having Mario and Luigi beating the shit out of each other is pretty wild. How could you even say that? The year of Luigi was one of the worst financial years for Nintendo in recent history. That's only because no one would buy the Wii U for a 2D Mario game. Well, if you're so great, why didn't anyone buy Luigi's Mansion 2? Fuck you, Mario! Luigi's Mansion 2 was an underrated classic and you know it! Finally, I can personally beat the shit out of Mr. Game & Watch. Now you listen to me, motherfucker. How dare you take a spot on this roster when you haven't been relevant, ever. Today, you're going to die. Wonder if he's got any different taunts. What is this? What is happening? What is meant to be happening? You know what? Don't even worry about it. I mean, really, the game sells itself. And not in a hooker way. They put every single character from the history of the series in the game. They have more maps than ever. They made the characters faithful both stylistically and in how they control. There's an unbelievable level of detail. They give you every customization option you could possibly imagine. You have to unlock almost all the characters, giving you goals to achieve right out of the gate, even if you're only planning on playing the regular Smash mode. They serve both the most hardcore gamers and the most casual, and through all this, you can still tell they give themselves the freedom to have goofy, dumb stuff in it that really gives it its own identity. I had high expectations for this, and it blew right through them. For what they set out to do, they achieved the hell out of it. At least when it comes to Smash Mode, which is really what the game is to me. Truly incredible work here. It only hits number 2 solely because I prefer single-player focused experiences, for reasons including but not limited to the fact that I mostly play games on my own. And now, a list of some of the games from 2018 I haven't played, so there's no question as to why it's not on the list. It's been 8 long years I've been sitting here twiddling my cowboy thumbs waiting for the continuation of John Marston's story. So What's that, partner? You're telling me that the new Red Dead is a prequel to 2010's Red Dead Redemption? So if following up Red Dead Revolver and Red Dead Redemption with Red Dead Redemption 2 didn't already sound dumb enough, you're telling me that this game is a prequel to the game it's calling itself a sequel to? Well, howdy, partner, isn't that just a bucket load of cattle? You might as well go ahead and shoot me in the head right now, because there ain't no more pressing issues in current society than the names of my video games, cause it's 1893, and I love my Xbox 360. I know I get hung up about names of stuff a lot, but I mean, come on, it's not that hard. Look, Red Dead Revenge, Red Dead Revolution, Red Dead Restitution, Red Dead Retribution, Red Dead Reptilian Invasion, Red Dead Just One More Job, Arthur, Red Dead Retaliation, Red Dead Red Bed, Red Wed Gengen, Red Dead Bed. When it comes to the plot of a new game, is it too much to ask for you to work from the title backwards? I guess we can't all have a title as good as Fantastic or Take-Throne. So it was finally time to strap on ye old props from that minecart video and delve into the most expansive and time-consuming game of the year. Right before every other game came out. Oh my god. Is this the game? This is beautiful. How the hell did they make this? Look at the snow tracks. Holy crap. I wonder if... Yeah! Yeah! Did somebody say Game of the Year? Oh, you're fucking dead, boy.
Where are you taking me?
Hey, stop squirming, buddy. Come on, you can trust me. Say cheese. The game introduces a small but powerful little speech mechanic that allows you to interact with basically every NPC in the game, with the options greet, antagonize, and aim weapon. I mean, what else do you really need? They worked to actually make this mechanic create sensical conversations so it doesn't just turn out like Oblivion or something. Now, I usually try and take the good guy options when games like this have morality meters, but it was so much fun to be an asshole in this. I mean, how many other games can you go up to someone who's crying in a graveyard and make fun of them?
Oh, see, you ain't tough after all.
Please, forget this!
Hi.
Wait. You can antagonize little Jack Marston?
You're old enough to stop it!
I will say, I kind of thought the story was totally bullshit. So same thing as the first one, I guess. While it was happening, I was fine, I guess. But when you got to the end and looked back at it all, it was like, wait, what the fuck was that? I mean, there's more than one character who was presented as one characteristic at the beginning of the game. and then is only ever seen as that one characteristic through the entire game. Isn't that like the definition of a one-dimensional character? It's kinda painfully predictable, so much so that I went through most of the game thinking, no, it's not actually gonna be that predictable, it's gonna have something up its sleeve. No! Yeah, it was kinda fucking dumb. I liked the epilogue story way more than the main game, but I just don't get it, man. It seems like so much effort went into the plot, but I feel betrayed just by giving it my benefit of the doubt. But it did its job in carrying a lot of fun as hell missions. And you know what? They expanded on the batshit insane stranger missions, and they're awesome. I mean, for me, they're pretty much worth buying the game for. I won't spoil them, but the weird characters you meet in these, along with their even weirder stories, are such a delight, and are honestly my favorite part of the whole game. They do a really good job at making the world feel populated and multifaceted, on top of the fact that the criminal activity is just so much more robust than this. They just did a great job of making this world feel alive and thriving, and one that you feel your place in. The online mode is novel. It's surely more fun if you have people to play it through with, but it's literally designed to suck you into it and then make it a pain in the ass to progress unless you pay them more money for this already fully priced game, so it's just as predatory as GTA 5. No fucking thank you, 2K, you piece of shit. But the single player alone was certainly more than fun enough to justify buying and investing my time into. Free roamers are my flesh and blood, and 3D platformers are my bones. I love being given a world that I could just sink my teeth into and explore and interact with the environment and take part in just a totally different reality. And just see what kind of wacky shit I can get up to. And dang nabbit, can I do that in this game. And so I must decree, Red Dead Redemption 2 is my favorite game of 2018. I liked it. I just want to say thank you to all the kind-hearted individuals in the comment sections of these videos. You are not going unnoticed. All the support and criticism alike. Thank you for watching.